There are multiple reasons why you should work out at home. You don't have to spend money on a gym membership. You don't have to waste time traveling to the gym and back. And if you're like me, you might feel more comfortable in your own space rather than having other people around while you work out. In this video, we'll go over 4 exercises you can do from the comfort of your own home with little to no equipment. Make sure you stick around until the end of this video because the last exercise will definitely get your heart rate up. These exercises are perfect for beginners, but even advanced individuals will see a challenge. So let's get started. If you enjoy the content, please make sure you hit that like button. It really helps us grow. Also, stick around after this video because we have a ton of other workouts you can try out at home. Let's get right into it. Exercise 1 is an isometric hold called the plank. The plank is great for targeting the core muscles such as the rectus abdominis, the internal and external obliques, and the transverse abdominis. It also targets the shoulders and upper back muscles like the serratus anterior and the trapezius. To perform the plank, start by getting down on all fours, then extend your legs behind you so that your body forms a straight line from head to heels. Keep your body rigid and avoid arching your back or sagging your hips. For extra stability, you can place your forearms on the ground with your elbows aligned under your shoulders. Engage your core by pulling your belly button in towards your spine. Hold this position for as long as you can while maintaining good form. Start with a goal of holding the plank for 20 to 30 seconds and gradually increase the time as you get stronger. Here's a quick tip. If you find it easier to keep your hips higher and your back more arched, you can always perform the plank on your knees. Just make sure your back is still flat and not rounded. There are many variations of the plank that you can try out as well. If you want to target your upper body more, you can add in some arm raises or shoulder taps. Or if you want to target your lower body more, you can try doing some leg lifts. Exercise 2 is a compound movement called a burpee. The burpee is great for targeting multiple muscle groups throughout your entire body, including your legs, chest, shoulders, and core. Burpees are excellent for improving cardiovascular fitness as well. Begin by standing with your feet shoulder width apart. Then bend your knees and sit your hips back as if you're sitting into a chair. Keep your back straight and lower yourself until your thighs are parallel to the ground. As you do this, place your hands on the floor in front of you. From there, jump your feet back into a plank position with your hands still on the floor. Keep your body in a straight line from head to heels. Then perform a push-up. After the push-up, jump your feet back to the starting burpee position with your hands still on the floor. Explosively jump up from the burpee position, reaching your arms overhead. Land back down on the ground with your feet together and repeat for reps. Now that was a lot of movement. Let's break that down a bit. First, you want to focus on your form during the burpee. Keep your movements controlled and don't rush the exercise. If you find the burpee too challenging, you can modify it by removing the jump at the end. Instead, simply stand up from the burpee position and repeat for reps. Another thing to keep in mind is that the burpee is a full body workout. Make sure you're engaging your core and keeping your body stable throughout the movement. Exercise 3 is another isometric bodyweight movement called the wall sit. The wall sit is a fantastic exercise for targeting your quadriceps, hamstrings, and glutes. To perform the wall sit, find a sturdy wall and lean your back flat against it. Slide down the wall until your thighs are parallel to the ground. Keep your feet shoulder width apart and your knees directly above your ankles. Avoid letting your knees wobble from side to side. Hold this position for as long as you can while maintaining good form. To make the wall sit more challenging, you can reduce the angle between your thighs and the wall, or you can use a chair instead of a wall. Now, a very common mistake that people make when performing the wall sit is leaning their back too far away from the wall. This puts unnecessary strain on your lower back and reduces the effectiveness of the exercise. So make sure you keep your back flat against the wall or the chair. Another thing to keep in mind is that the wall sit is an isometric movement, which means that your muscles will be engaged but not moving. This can make it easy to relax and let your form slip. So make sure you focus on keeping your body stable and engaged throughout the movement. And now for the final exercise of this workout, we have the mountain climber. This is a fantastic cardio exercise that can help improve your cardiovascular fitness, burn calories, and increase your endurance. The mountain climber targets the core muscles as well, such as the rectus abdominis, the internal and external obliques, and the transverse abdominis. To perform the mountain climber, start in a plank position with your hands directly under your shoulders. Extend your legs straight out behind you and keep your body in a straight line from head to heels. Engage your core by pulling your belly button in towards your spine. Raise one foot off the ground and bring your knee towards your chest. Then quickly switch legs by simultaneously extending your starting leg back to the original plank position and bringing your opposite knee towards your chest. Repeat this alternating motion at a brisk pace, keeping your movements controlled and your core engaged throughout. Aim for 3 sets of 30 to 60 seconds, depending on your fitness level. If you want to make the exercise more challenging, you can increase the speed or add some variety to your movements. For example, you can try bringing both knees towards your chest at the same time or performing the mountain climber with your hands elevated on some books or a chair. When performing the mountain climber, it's important to maintain good form. Keep your back flat and don't let your hips sag or arch. Also, make sure you're engaging your core and not relying solely on your arms to perform the movement. So we've gone over 4 exercises that you can do from the comfort of your own home with little to no equipment. Remember to start slow and gradually build up your intensity and reps over time. If you don't have dumbbells at home, no worries. You can use water bottles, soup cans, whatever you have available. As always, if something doesn't feel right, just stop, figure out an alternative movement that does feel good and modify. But again, this is a full body workout, so you need to push yourself and go hard. So first up is going to be shoulder press. Now for this one, make sure you're standing tall, nice and stable. You're going to hold your weights directly under your shoulders, palms facing forward, and then from there you're going to press straight up overhead. So you're pressing directly over the top of your head. Make sure you're keeping your core nice and tight, maintaining good posture throughout, and then slowly lowering down and then pressing back up. And again, do your best to keep those elbows tucked close to your body, kind of coming up in towards the middle as you do this movement. Once you come all the way down, explode up and then come right back down. Keep your reps controlled. All right, next up is lateral raises. For this one, we're still going to have those weights directly under the shoulders. Palms will be facing towards your body, and from there we're going to raise our hands out to the side, so keeping those elbows slightly bent, raising them out to the side, directly out to the side, not too high, not too low, and then lowering back down. Again, keep those reps controlled. Don't swing around, make sure you're staying nice and stable, but really targeting those shoulders. All right, next up is front raises. So this time, you're going to have your palms facing away from you, slightly bend those elbows, and then lift directly in front of you. So you should end up in a position where your upper arm is parallel to the ground, and then lower back down. Again, controlled reps, nice and slow, and then come back up and do it again. All right, next up is a super challenging one, bent over reverse flies. So you're going to want to have a little bit more space for this one. You're going to hinge down, bring your upper body almost parallel to the ground, and then spread those wings out as far as you can behind you, and then bring them back in. Don't pull with your arms. Focus on your back, and then come back and do it again. This one really targets the rear delts and the traps. Next up, let's get into some arm work. Starting with biceps curls. Now I'm using 2 water bottles today. If you have dumbbells, obviously use those instead. Holding those weights by your sides, palms facing forward, curl up towards your chest, nice and slow, controlled reps, not swinging around and then lower back down and do it again. This time, we're gonna do alternating hammer curls. So holding your weights by your sides, this time you're gonna curl with your palms facing each other. So you should end up with your palms facing up at the top of the curl. And then slowly lower back down and then switch sides and do it again. Really trying to isolate and target that bicep. All right, now let's move on to triceps. Super simple workout today. First one is kickbacks. So you're going to grab your weight and you're going to hinge down, bring your upper body almost parallel to the ground, and then kick back over your shoulder. So it should look like you're giving someone a little kick in the side of the head. Nice and slow, controlled rep. Really targeting that tricep, and then do it again. Next up is tricep dips. So if you have parallel bars at home, even better. If not, you can use 2 sturdy chairs. All you're going to do is put your hands on the chairs, walk your feet forward, and then slowly lower down until your arms are almost fully extended, and then press up and do it again. All right, next up is a floor exercise that I love. You're going to lay down on your stomach, have your weights by your side, kind of tuck your chin to your chest, and then straighten out your arms, raising those weights up, really targeting those triceps, and then lower back down and do it again. Next up is a super challenging one, single arm overhead tricep extensions. So you're going to have one weight, This time, you're actually going to be on one knee, and then you're going to hold that weight directly above your head and then lower down. This is a great exercise to isolate and work that tricep, and then do it again. All right, next up is probably one of the hardest ones that I know. Single arm tricep kickbacks. So this time you're actually going to be on one knee and then holding that weight and then kicking back and then doing it again. I recommend doing this one on an incline because it's much harder doing it flat. And last but not least, regular tricep push downs. You can either use a broomstick or a towel. All you're going to do is wrap that towel or hold that broomstick with your hands directly under your hips. And then from there, you're going to roll your elbows into straightening out those arms and then lower back down and do it again. Now we're working on the entire backside of the body. Starting with glute bridges. You're going to lay down on your back, have your feet flat on the floor, raise your hips up, squeezing those glutes, and then lower back down. Make sure you're keeping your core nice and tight throughout this entire exercise and then do it again. Next up is a standing calf raise. So you're going to stand tall, hold your weights by your sides, and then raise up onto your tippy toes. Really focusing on isolating those calves and then slowly lower back down and then do it again. All right, next up is one of my favorite exercises, sumo squats. So you're going to have your feet turned out, holding your weights by your sides, and then squatting down, really targeting those glutes and those inner thighs. Remember to keep your knees in line with your toes throughout the entire exercise, and then come right back up and do it again. Next up is Romanian deadlifts. Hold your weights by your sides, hinge down, keeping that barbell or those dumbbells as close to your shins as possible. Squeeze those glutes and then lower back down and do it again. All right, next up is a standing calf raise variation. So this time you're going to hold your weights by your sides, raise up onto your tippy toes, and then bring your heels down. So you should end up with your knees bent and then slowly come back up and do it again. All right, last but not least, regular squats. Holding your weights by your sides, squat down nice and slow, keeping your knees in line with your toes, making sure you're keeping your back straight throughout the entire exercise, and then coming back up and doing it again. In this video, we're going to give you some practical and effective home workouts. Because sometimes having a gym membership isn't an option. It's just not convenient for everyone. But that doesn't mean you can't get a great workout done at home. So we'll be showing you workouts that don't require any equipment so that you can get ripped without ever having to step foot into a gym. Now, a good home workout doesn't have to include complicated exercise routines or take up a lot of time. By using your own body weight, you can perform effective exercises that build both strength and endurance. In fact, many athletes train at home using just their body weight to stay in peak physical condition. So the first thing you need to know is that you can build muscle and burn fat without needing dumbbells, barbells, or any other type of weights. But if you still want to add resistance to your home workout routine, you can easily purchase an inexpensive set of dumbbells. Even 20 pounds will be enough to make a huge difference. And you can even improvise with objects around your house. You can fill backpacks with books or water bottles to make weighted backpacks. You can use gallon jugs of water, which, by the way, I think are a great tool to have regardless if you're working out or not. They're great for everyday drinking. You can also use sandbags, pots, pans, whatever you really have available. So here's one of my favorite quickie workouts that requires no equipment at all. We're going to start with 5 push-ups. Push-ups are an excellent exercise for developing the upper body, particularly the chest, shoulders, and triceps. There are several different ways to perform push-ups, but the most common is the standard push-up. To do a push-up, you begin in a plank position with your hands slightly wider than shoulder width apart, and then lower your body by bending your elbows until your chest is just above the floor. Then push back up and repeat. If you're a beginner, you may find it helpful to start out by doing push-ups against a wall or on your knees until you build up enough strength to do them on the floor. Aim for 3 sets of as many reps as possible. Next, we're moving on to squats. Squats are a compound movement that targets the lower body, including the quadriceps, hamstrings, and glutes. To do a squat, stand with your feet shoulder width apart, chest up, and your arms at your sides. Then bend your knees and push your hips back as if you're sitting into a chair. Keep your back straight and lower yourself down until your thighs are parallel to the floor. Then push through your feet to return to the starting position. Squats can be made more challenging by holding dumbbells at your sides or by performing them on one leg at a time. Again, aim for 3 sets of as many reps as possible. Another great one is the lunge. Lunges are another lower body focused exercise that helps to improve balance and stability. And then to do a lunge, stand with your feet together and take a big step forward with one leg. As you step forward, bend both knees to create a 90-degree angle with your legs. Make sure your front knee does not go past your toes. Then push back up to the starting position and repeat with the other leg. You can do lunges with or without weights, and they can be done forward, reverse, or side lunges. Like the other exercises, aim for 3 sets of as many reps as possible. Alright, let's move on to planks because they're a fantastic core strengthening exercise. Planks are known to help develop a strong core, which is important for overall fitness and can help prevent injuries. To do a plank, start in a push-up position with your forearms on the ground, elbows aligned with your shoulders. Keep your body in a straight line from head to hips. Engage your core and hold this position. The key to planks is to keep your body in a straight line and to avoid arching or sagging. Planks can be made more challenging by raising one arm or leg at a time or by holding them on an incline. And again, aim for 3 sets and hold each set for as long as you can without sacrificing form. For cardio, we're going to do 3 minutes of jumping jacks. Jumping jacks are a classic cardio exercise that gets your heart rate up and burns calories. To do a jumping jack, start standing with your feet together and your arms at your sides. Jump while spreading your legs shoulder width apart and raising your arms overhead. Then jump back to the starting position and repeat. Jumping jacks are a high impact exercise. So if you have joint pain or other physical limitations, you may want to opt for low impact alternatives like high knees or side shuffles. Another one for cardio is high knees. High knees are a great exercise to improve cardiovascular endurance and strengthen the lower body. To do a high knee, start by standing with your feet hip width apart and your hands at your sides. Then bring one knee up towards your chest while keeping your back straight and your core engaged. Quickly switch legs and continue alternating as you would with jumping jacks. Again, 3 sets for 3 minutes. And the last one for cardio is burpees. Burpees are a full body exercise that combines cardio, strength, and explosiveness. They're an excellent exercise for burning calories and improving cardiovascular fitness. To do a burpee, start standing with your feet shoulder width apart. Drop into a squat position with your hands on the floor. Kick your feet back into a plank position and then jump your feet back to the squat position. Explosively jump up from the squat and reach your arms overhead. Burpees can be modified by removing the jump at the end or by stepping instead of jumping, but they should definitely be done with caution because they're very high impact. As you can see, you don't need a lot of equipment to get a great workout done. These exercises are effective for building strength and endurance, and they can be done in a relatively small space. You can choose to do one exercise at a time or circuit train by doing all the exercises back to back with minimal rest in between. It's up to you. You could even add in other exercises that you love or remove any of these that you dislike. Here are some additional tips for making the most out of your home workout. Find a quiet space where you won't be interrupted so that you can focus on your workout. Put on some motivating music to help you push through the exercises. Make sure you're wearing comfortable clothing and shoes that provide support. Proper footwear is especially important if you plan on doing any jumping jacks or burpees. Remember to warm up before each workout with 5 minutes of light cardio like jogging in place or jumping jacks. Cool down after your workout with 5 minutes of stretching. Hold each stretch for 30 seconds and focus on your major muscle groups. Remember that the key to success is consistency. Even if you can only spare a few minutes each day, it's better than nothing. Over time, you'll start to notice improvements in your strength, endurance, and overall fitness level. And if you're looking for more workout ideas or exercise demonstrations, you can check out our channel. We have a ton of videos there that can help you get in shape. I hope this video has given you some helpful ideas for working out at home. Remember that you don't need a gym membership or expensive equipment to get a great workout done. By using your own body weight or adding in inexpensive weights like dumbbells, you can build strength and endurance without ever leaving your home. You can either do them both together or alternate between the two. All right, let's get started. All right, so just like last time, we're going to start with a warm-up. So what I'm going to do is a little bit of shadow boxing just to get my blood flowing, work on some footwork, throw some punches, kick, throw some combinations, try to look good doing it. Maybe I should have put this on earlier. Work on that shoulder rotation, turn your trunk, keep your eye focused on the target, and boom, 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 boom. We're going to do that for 30 seconds, and then we're going to move on to some push-ups. So with the push-ups, I'm going to show you the proper form, and then we'll go over some different progressions you can do to make it easier or harder. So starting off with your hands right underneath your shoulders, you want to keep a nice tight core. So squeeze those abs, and then as you come down, you want to try to keep a straight line from your head to your heels. Don't want your butt sticking up in the air or your head going forward. Keep a nice straight line. Come up and down, come up and down. Nice, slow, controlled movements. Try not to rush these exercises, and then you're going to do 8 of them. So we're going to do 3 sets of 8. And again, you can modify these to make them easier or harder. So if you need to, you can drop your knees to the ground and still work those same muscles, just not quite as intense. You don't have to keep your legs straight underneath your hips. You can actually widen them. So if you want to target more of your chest and your triceps, you can widen those legs and then come down, and you can also do these on your fist. So if you want to target more of your shoulders and your serratus anterior, which is this muscle here, you can put your hands together like this and come down. Now, if you want to make these harder, you could do them on your fingertips, and then you could also add some explosive movements at the end of them. So once you get up at the top, you can do a little clap, or you can do a little jump, and as you come down, you can try to slam the floor and then explode back up. That's gonna really work those shoulders, those triceps, and your chest. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to some burpees. Now there's a couple different ways you can do burpees. You can do them with a tuck jump, or you can do them with a squat jump. I prefer the squat jump because it works more the lower body, but if you really want to focus on your upper body and your shoulders, you can do the tuck jump. Either way, it's going to be a full body workout. So with the burpee, you're going to stand up, you're going to take a big step back, and then you're going to drop it down into a squat position. Once you get down in that squat position, you're going to have your hands come out and touch the ground, and then you're going to jump your feet back out to the other side and stand back up. Now, if you want to make this harder, you can do a plyometric burpee. So you're going to do the exact same thing. But at the end, instead of just standing back up, you're going to do a big jump and reach your arms over your head. So you're going to do 3 sets of 10. Again, you can modify these to make them easier or harder. If you need to, you can drop to your knees and then just work on stepping back and forth. You don't have to worry about jumping. You can even remove the burpee part and just do regular squats. Now we're going to move on to some tricep dips. Now you can do these on the edge of a couch, the edge of your bed, a chair, whatever you have available. So what you're going to do is you're going to sit up on the edge of it, and then you're going to bring your butt right to the edge. You don't want to scoot too far forward. You want your weight on the edge of your seat or on the edge of the surface you're using, and then you're going to put your hands behind your back, bend those elbows, and then you're going to slowly lower yourself down and then press into your hands and come back up. Now, if you want to make this harder, you can lean forward a little bit and then do the same thing. Same thing goes if you want to make it easier. You can go ahead and put your knees down and then do the same motion, just a little slower and a little more controlled. 3 sets of 10. All right, moving on to some curl-ups. Now with the curl-ups, you want to lay on your back with your hands behind your head, and then you want to lift those shoulders off the ground, and then you want to curl those shoulders towards your hips. Now, if you want to make this harder, you can hold your hands straight out in front of you, or you can hold them behind your head. So if you hold them behind your head, it's going to be harder. It's going to work more of your shoulders and your serratus anterior. If you hold your hands straight out in front of you, it's going to work more of your lower and upper back. So again, you can go 3 sets of 10 to 15. Moving on to some Superman flies. So you're going to lay on your stomach, put your hands behind your back, and then you're going to lift up off the ground, keeping your hips on the ground, and then you're going to spread those wings out as wide as you can, and then bring them back together. Now, if you want to make this harder, you can actually bring those hands together and then curl under so that your hands are touching, and then you can do the same thing, coming back and forth, just a little bit slower. So now you're working more of your lower and mid back. So again, you can go 3 sets of 10 to 15. All right, moving on to some crunches. Now, I'm sure everybody knows how to do a crunch, but you want to keep your hands behind your head, lift up off the ground, and then just crunch those abs. Don't pull on your neck. You shouldn't feel any pain in your neck. You should only feel it in your stomach. So 3 sets of 15 to 20. Now we're going to move on to some planks. So I'm going to show you the proper form, and then we'll talk about some different ways you can modify this to make them easier or harder. So starting off with your hands directly underneath your shoulders, you want to keep a nice tight core. So squeeze those abs, and then you want to raise up off the ground so that your body forms a straight line from your head to your heels. Don't let your butt stick up in the air or your head sag forward. Keep a nice tight core, relax your shoulders, breathe nice and slow and steady, and you're going to hold that for 30 seconds. Now, if you want to make this harder, you can do it longer. You can also do a forearm plank, which is going to be a little harder on your shoulders and your serratus anterior. You can also add some shoulder taps where you raise your opposite hand and opposite leg at the same time and tap and then switch sides. Or you can do it alternating. So you can tap and then switch and then tap and then switch. That's going to work more of your obliques and your shoulders. Now, if you need to make this easier, you can drop to your knees and then just work on holding that position. You can also do it against the wall, which will work the same muscles, but it'll be a little bit easier. Now, the last thing we're going to do is some bicycle crunches. So you're going to lay on your back with your hands behind your head, and then you're going to lift those shoulders off the ground. Then you're going to bring your elbow towards your opposite knee and then straighten that leg out. So you're going to do 15 to 20 on each side. So now that you know all the exercises, you can go ahead and string them together and put them in order. Remember that you want to do this 3 to 4 times a week, and that alone should help you get a nice physique. Consistency is key. Even if you're only working out 3 to 4 times a week, you'll still see changes in your body composition, your energy levels, and your stamina. It doesn't take much to make a big difference. So remember that you don't have to kill yourself every single day in the gym. Maybe you're not currently doing your workouts at home, and this will help you get started. So let's begin with reason number 1. Reason number 1 is that there's no such thing as a bad exercise. If you can call any movement an exercise, then every exercise is good. That's because all exercises fill some kind of a need. Some may feel the need for stress relief, others the need for entertainment, but most people want exercises that build muscle strength and endurance. And if you have access to the internet, then congratulations. You have access to all the best exercises known to man. There are no more excuses like, well, my gym doesn't have that equipment, or I can't do that exercise because I do not have a partner. That stuff doesn't matter anymore because you can find all kinds of unique and effective exercises that don't require much equipment or assistance from other people. In fact, you can even use household items to build an entire workout routine. Reason number 2 is that you can save a lot of money. Now, this is especially true if you live alone and you're used to paying per session for things like personal training, group fitness classes, and if you're going to the gym memberships. You can save so much money by doing your workouts at home, and you can spend that money on something else that you value. Even if you're someone who does just fine with doing your own workouts, you can still save quite a bit of money. Just think of how many times you've gone to the gym and you've had to pay $40, $50, $60 for one session. Sometimes even more than that. Now, instead of wasting that money, you can use it to buy a new pair of shoes or take your girlfriend on a nice dinner or save it for an emergency. Whatever it is, you can do so much more with that extra money. And when you start saving up that money and you start seeing those savings add up, it's a great feeling. And it also motivates you to continue with your workouts at home. All right, reason number 3 is that you won't miss any workouts due to weather conditions. I remember living in Florida, and I would go to the gym after work, and sometimes on my way there, I would see thunderstorms rolling in, and I would think, oh my God, I hope that doesn't affect my workout. Or there were other times where the weather was absolutely perfect. I would go to the gym right after work, and immediately after my workout, the sky would open up, and it would start pouring rain, and I would think, man, I got lucky with that one. But you never have to worry about the weather if you're doing your workouts at home. It's always going to be perfect weather inside your house. And if you're concerned about a hot and humid weather or cold and snowy weather, again, it doesn't matter because inside your house, it's always going to be perfectly comfortable for doing your workouts. Reason number 4 is that tracking progress is another powerful motivator. Keeping a simple log of your repetitions, sets, or workout duration helps you see improvements over time. Watching yourself grow stronger each week builds confidence and keeps you committed to the journey. Now you can track your progress in different ways. One way is to keep a written log or use an app to record your workouts. And here's a pro tip. Include photos or videos of your progress, especially if you're doing exercises that involve your appearance. When you see the physical evidence on camera, it really motivates you to continue moving forward. All right. Reason number 5 is that there's no such thing as being too crowded. This is especially true if you live in a highly populated area or if you live near a major city. Gyms tend to get very crowded during certain hours of the day, but you never have to worry about that if you're doing your workouts at home. Anytime you want to do your workout, you can do it. You don't have to wait until 2 a.m. in the morning or 5 in the afternoon, because that's when the gym is less busy. And also, you don't have to worry about the equipment being taken, because when you're at home, you always have access to all the equipment. The only limit is your own imagination. Reason number 6 is that one of the greatest benefits of exercising at home is privacy. For those who feel shy or insecure about working out in public, being at home creates a comfortable environment to learn and experiment without judgment. This often leads to better consistency and long-term adherence. Specifically, if you're doing exercises that make you feel self-conscious, like maybe you're doing them in front of a mirror, you can do so without fear of being judged by anyone. And that's important because that fear of being judged sometimes holds people back and prevents them from being successful with their workouts. But when they have the privacy of their own home, they feel more comfortable and more confident, and they don't hold anything back. They just go for it. Reason number 7 is that you can be in your underwear. Listen, this isn't for everyone. I understand that. But if you're the type of person who likes to be comfortable while you're working out, well, guess what? You can do that if you're working out at home. You don't have to wear a t-shirt. You don't have to wear pants. You can just be in your underwear and do your workout. And that's perfectly fine. Nobody has to know except for you. But the freedom to be able to do that can make a huge difference for your comfort level, and it can also increase the amount of time that you spend doing your workouts. And if you're someone who thinks, well, I don't know if that's me, I don't know if I want to do that, you don't have to. But at least consider the fact that having that option is available to you. Reason number 8 is that you can be in your happy place. You can listen to your favorite music, your favorite podcast, or watch your favorite TV show while you're doing your workout. And this is a big deal because people love doing things that they enjoy. So if you can find a way to incorporate the things that you enjoy with your workouts, you're more likely to stick to your workout routine. In fact, I would argue that the best workouts are the ones where you don't even realize that you're working out. Like you're so engaged with whatever you're watching or listening to that the last thing on your mind is the fact that you're working out. And if you're able to achieve that state, you'll be amazed by how far you can progress because you won't get bored. You won't feel like skipping any days, and you won't feel tempted to stop early. Reason number 9 is that you can work out whenever you want. This is especially relevant for people who have demanding work schedules or family obligations. The flexibility to work out at home is invaluable. You can wake up before the sun rises, squeeze in a workout during your lunch break, or unwind with a session after your family is asleep. This adaptability ensures that your fitness journey fits around your life, not the other way around. And even if you have a jam-packed schedule, you can still find time to do your workouts at home because you have so many options. For example, you can do some push-ups and squats while you're waiting for your coffee to brew. You can do some lunges while you're talking on the phone, or you can do some sit-ups while you're watching TV. The possibilities are endless. And finally, reason number 10 is that you can train with your pet. Now, this may sound pretty funny, but hear me out on this one. Not only will this give you a great workout, but it will also give your pet a great workout. And that's a win-win situation right there. Plus, your pet will love spending quality time with you. And as you both sweat it out together, the bond between you will grow even stronger. And if you train consistently with your pet, eventually you can turn your dog into a workout buddy. And that's something that you definitely want to strive for, because dogs typically love doing things with their owners. And if you can turn your dog into a workout buddy, your workouts will never be boring and you will never skip a day again. So those are 10 reasons why you should do your workouts at home. But before you go, I want to ask you a question. What are some of the reasons why you like doing your workouts at home? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm sure that there are other people who would love to hear your perspective as well. I'm the creator of this channel. Remember to subscribe to this channel for more awesome videos. Have a great day.